everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Ryan Jackson once again. We're still in Article 680 on our 100-day rampage through the 2023 National Electrical Code changes. This is a nice, easy change, though. We're going to talk about 680.21, which is motors as it relates to GFCI protection. So 680.21, repaired motors now require SP GFCI protection or GFCI protection depending on the voltage ratings. All right. If a pool pump motor is replaced or repaired, then the new or repaired motor must be GFCI or SP GFCI protected if required by 680.21c. All right, so if we go back through the history of where GFCI protection was required for swimming pool pump motors, going back to, oh boy, maybe the 2005 NEC, when I first started inspecting, I think was in the 2002, I remember the rule was you only needed GFCI protection for the swimming pool pump motor if it was cord and plug connected and 120 volts and 15 amps. I think that was it. You had to be all three of those, and then GFCI protection was required. So people didn't want to put in GFCI protection, so they just hardwired it. And there you go. GFCI protection was not required. Now, I don't think that's a great idea because I think GFCI protection should be provided for swimming pool motors. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer, right? You're swimming around in the water and there's a pump motor moving the water. That thing needs GFCI. So without going through the whole rigmarole, between 2005 and maybe 2017, they incrementally expanded GFCI. So it went from like 120 volt, 15 amp cord and plug to 120 volt, 15 or 20 amp, but only if it's cord and plug. And then it was, okay, 120 volt or 240 volt, 15 or 20 amp, but only if it's cord and plug. And then it was, 120 volt or 240 volt, even if it's hardwired, but only if it's 15 or 20 volt, 20 amps. And then it was like, oh, what about 208? Oh, okay, well, instead of 120 or 240, it's 120 through 240. Hardwired cord and plug, but only 15 and 20 amps. Then they took the ampere rating out, and again, without going through the whole history, we're now in a pretty good spot. If you have a swimming pool pump motor, it pretty much needs to be GFCI protected. What if you replace the motor? I mean, the odds are most motors do not have GFCI protection from existing installations because they weren't required at the time they were installed. So in this photograph here, the bottom two right-hand breakers says pump on it, 2-pole 20. That was a hardwired 240 volt pool pump motor. I think we didn't require GFCI protection for it until maybe the 2011 or 2014. So if this equipment is 10 years old, GFCI protection probably was not required when they installed the motor. What if I replace the motor? Well, if you replace the motor, then GFCI protection is required. And I think the code requires that whether it directly says it or not. Because remember that 90.2, the scope of the code, says the code covers the installation of equipment. If you're replacing a motor, then you have made an installation. And installations must comply with the NEC. So 680.21c, I think, requires GFCI protection for replacement motors. But why have the argument, right? Why have the fight about whether or not 90.2 and is that an installation or is a replacement really an install? It says, listen, you replace the motor, it's got to be GFCI protected. Now it also says if you repair the motor, that it has to be GFCI protected. What if you remove the motor and send it out for repair and then put it back into play? I mean, that's kind of like replacing the motor, isn't it? I mean, pretty close. So now we're saying that thing would need to be GFCI protected as well. So, nice, simple change. Not too terribly often that this is going to come up, but when it does, it will definitely improve electrical safety. So see you on the next video when we talk about equipotential bonding and 680.26.